Okay, welcome to today's class. I hope all are present today. How many boys are there today?
So 23.
23. Some are yet to join, no?
Yes, yes, sir.
24 only.
So let's wait.
Let's wait 2 minutes. Okay. Today I am supposed to do law of reciprocal proportions. Okay, boys, let us begin the class. How many have come in? Is it 35 now?
No, sir, 29.
Sir,
29
29.
only. Boys are not punctual, man. What is this? Horrible, man. There was a 10 minutes break from 10:30. After that, also, you take so much time to join the class.
I think boys are not notified.
Why? There is no need of notification. They should know their timetable, no? There is class.
Uh,
28 only. Okay. Okay, let us begin. Okay, boys. Okay, now, yesterday I was talking about the law of reciprocal proportions. Okay. Today, I'll explain you the law of reciprocal proportions by taking examples in detail. Okay. If you look at the statement of law of reciprocal proportion, which I stated yesterday, according to the law of reciprocal proportions, two elements A and B would combine in the same ratio of masses or in simple multiple ratios of masses in which they separately combine with a fixed mass of the third element. So I'd explain this by taking the example of methane, water, and carbon dioxide. Okay. Now, to explain this again properly, let me give you one more example. Look at the screen very carefully over there. There are three elements: carbon, okay, oxygen, and hydrogen, which have combined. There are three elements: carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen, which have combined, okay, to form compounds like methane, carbon dioxide, water. Okay. Now, serial number one. In the compound methane, the elements combining are carbon and hydrogen. The combining weights of carbon and hydrogen is 12, 4. 12 parts of carbon, 4 parts of hydrogen. The second compound is carbon dioxide. In this compound, carbon dioxide, the combining elements are carbon and oxygen. So the combining weights will be 12 is to 32. Now here, keeping the weight combining weights of carbon same constant, it is already constant. If I compare the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen, now hydrogen and oxygen hydrogen and oxygen, I will get 4 is to 32. Just have a look. And this is coming to 1:8. Okay. So the ratio in which hydrogen and oxygen will combine, keeping the weight of carbon same, it is coming 1:8. Now look at number 3 over here. Let us take the example of water. Now in water, in water over here, in the case of water, if you draw this, the combining elements in water are, I can take hydrogen and oxygen. So the combining weights are 2, over here it is 16. Okay, so hydrogen and oxygen are combining in the ratio 2 is to how much? 16. Okay, if I simplify this, I will get 1:8.
1:8.
1:8. Okay, so I'm getting 1:8 over here, and here from the two compounds I've got 1:8. Now if I compare this 1:8 by this 1:8, then I will get 1 by 8 into 8 by 1. It is coming to 1. I can write it as 1:1 also. Okay, it is the same. This is same over here. So if you look at the definition, or the law of reciprocal proportion, A and B would combine in the same ratio of masses, or in simple multiple. So yesterday I explained the example of multiple ratios. Okay, now we will do a problem. Based on this. Okay, now let us have a look at the problem now. So before going to the problem, just for some time, look at one more example. I would like to explain you. There are three elements: hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. Hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. Okay. Now these three elements, hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen, they are combining with each other. To form three compounds. Let us form the three compounds. Okay. Now hydrogen and sulfur, they will combine to form the compound which is called hydrogen sulfide. The atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. Okay. Atomic mass of sulfur is 32. Atomic mass of oxygen is how much? It's 16. Okay. Now here hydrogen and oxygen will combine to form water. Sulfur and oxygen will combine to form sulfur dioxide. Okay. So I am trying to explain you law of reciprocal proportions. Okay. Now let us go one by one slowly. Okay. Now let me write down in water. In water, the ratio the ratio of masses of hydrogen and oxygen is how much? Tell me. In water, what is the ratio of masses of hydrogen and oxygen in water? Over here.
So 2:16.
Yeah, it is 2:16,
1:8.
or I can say 1:8, or 1:8. No, I can write that also.
1:8.
Okay. Now let us go to the next
Yes,
one.
sir.
This is one. Okay. Let us go to sulfur dioxide. Okay. Now I'll write down in sulfur dioxide, the ratio of masses of sulfur and oxygen is, in sulfur dioxide now, how much is it
So
coming?
32:32.
32 is to
32:32.
32, or can I write 1:1?
Yes, sir.
Can I write 1:1? Okay. Now I have compared these two, A
Yes,
and B.
sir.
These are two compounds, A and B. Now you see in water and sulfur dioxide, the common element is oxygen. No? No. The common element is what? Oxygen. No? Yes or no? See, oxygen is here also, oxygen is here also, no? So
Sir.
now I will write
Yes,
the
sir.
sentence. Therefore, the ratio, the ratio of masses, of hydrogen and sulfur, which combine with, which combine with, which combine with a fixed mass of oxygen, fixed mass of oxygen. Let us keep the mass of oxygen fixed. Let us say it is 32. 32. Okay, because it is 32, no? So here it will be, therefore, the ratio of masses of hydrogen and sulfur which combine with fixed mass of oxygen. Let us keep the mass of oxygen fixed. If it becomes fixed, then over here it will be hydrogen has to become double, no? So it will become 4 is to how much? 4 is to 32. 32, or I can write 1 is to 8. Okay, is that clear? Is that clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We are keeping the mass of oxygen
Yes,
fixed.
sir.
Whatever element, whichever element is common, no, we are keeping that element mass fixed and comparing the other two elements. So if I make oxygen fixed, that is 32 over here. Here also I have 32, no. So if I make this 32, means the hydrogen has to double. It has to be 4, no. So that's why it is 4 is to 32 or 1 is to 8. Am I clear till here?
No,
Now,
sir.
Yes, sir.
yes,
So can
yes,
you
yeah.
so can you repeat?
I'm repeating once more. Let's go from the beginning. I hope you got this triangle. There are three elements: hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen combining with each other to form compounds hydrogen sulfide, water, and sulfur dioxide. First, I'm taking water and sulfur dioxide. Okay, so in water, H2O, the ratios of masses of hydrogen and oxygen is 2 is to 16 or 1 is to 8. Okay, is that clear? But in sulfur dioxide, the ratio of
Yes, sir.
masses of sulfur and oxygen is 32 is to 32 or 1 is to 1. So this 2 is done. This 2 is done. The ratios have got 1 is to 8 over here in water and 1 is to 1 in sulfur dioxide. Now, in these two compounds, water and sulfur dioxide, oxygen is common. Oxygen is the common element. So I will keep the mass of oxygen fixed. So I'm taking, since the mass of oxygen in sulfur dioxide is double 32, no, so I'm making in water also double, that is 32. If I make this 32, then hydrogen also become double, no? That's why, therefore, the ratio of masses of hydrogen and sulfur, which combined with a fixed mass of oxygen, 32 parts, will be 4 is to 32 or 1 is to 8. It is clear now? Is
Yes,
it clear
sir.
now? Okay, good. Now I will write when now the third compound, hydrogen sulfide, when hydrogen and sulfur combine together, combine together, they will form what? They form H2S, in which in which the ratio in which the ratio of masses of hydrogen and sulfur is, compare, 2 is to 32, no, so it is 2 is to 32, or I can write uh, 1 is to 16. Okay, I've got this ratio. In the third compound, hydrogen sulfide, the ratio in which hydrogen and sulfur combine is 1 is to 16. Okay, now we have to compare this ratio and this ratio. It has to be either same or it has to be a simple multiple whole number, simple multiple ratio. Okay, so I will go to the next slide now. I'll go to the next slide. Now, the above two ratios, the above two ratios 1:8 and 1:16. 1:16 are compared, are related to each other, are related to each other, each other. Therefore, we'll write it over here. 1/8 is to 1/16, or if I simplify this, I can write it in this manner also. 1/8 into 16/1. If I simplify this, I'll get 2/1, or I can write it simply as 2:1. So this ratio 2:1, it is a whole number multiple. It is a whole number multiple of each other. It is a whole number multiple of each other. Am I clear? Okay. So we can say
Yes,
finally
sir.
that we can finally say over here that thus the ratio of masses of hydrogen, thus the ratio of masses of hydrogen and sulfur, which combined with a fixed mass of oxygen, is a whole number multiple of the ratio in which hydrogen and sulfur combine together to form the third compound, that is hydrogen sulfide gas. Am I clear? So this is proving and following the law of reciprocal proportions. Okay, so this was one example. Okay, anybody got any question? Anybody got any question? Okay, nobody got any question? Yes. Okay, now now I think I will explain one more example, okay, to make the concept much clearer. Okay, so for that I'll have to introduce one more slide for you all. Okay, one more example, try to watch carefully. Okay, now this time I'm going to take another three elements. Now I'll take first element, let's take carbon. Okay, the next element I'll take will be sulfur. The third element I'll take will be oxygen. Okay, so this time I have taken three elements: carbon, sulfur, and oxygen. Carbon atomic mass is 12, sulfur atomic mass is 32, and oxygen atomic mass is 16. Okay, now when these three elements combine with each other, compounds are formed. Compounds are formed. So the compounds formed are like this: carbon and sulfur will combine to form carbon disulfide. Okay, sulfur and oxygen will combine to form sulfur dioxide. Carbon and oxygen will combine to form what? Tell me. What?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, exactly. From carbon dioxide. Okay. Am I clear till here? Am I
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Okay. Now let us start with the first compound over here, that is carbon dioxide. Okay, so I'll write a sentence over here. In carbon dioxide, in carbon dioxide, the ratio of masses of carbon and oxygen is how much? Tell me. It is 12 is to how much?
12 is to 32.
32.
32.
Or how much? Simplify it. Simplify
3
it.
is to 8.
4 3 is 12. 3 is to 8. Correct. Okay. Correct, no? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after that, I will take the other compound. Let's take, this time, let's take carbon disulfide. Okay. Now, I'll write over here. In carbon disulfide, the ratio of masses of carbon and sulfur is how much?
12 is to 64.
12 is
64.
to 64. Or simplify this, it is coming to how much? How much? 12 is 64. Simplify it. It is coming 3 is to how much?
3 is to 16.
4 3 is 12. 4 16. Yeah, 16. Correct. 3 is to 16. Am I clear? Am I clear now? Now in these two
Excuse me,
elements,
sir.
yes,
sir.
yes.
Instead of that carbon sulfide, we could have taken the other one also, no, sir?
Yeah, we can take
So
sulfur
can
dioxide also. It is the same thing.
okay, sir.
That time in the previous example, I took this way, no? Now I'm taking
Yes,
this
sir.
way. I can take it in any form. I can take it in any form.
Yes, sir.
The first two compounds over here I'm taking is carbon dioxide and carbon disulfide. Okay. I could have taken carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, which is the same thing. Okay. Now look at these two
Sir,
compounds. Yeah, tell me.
can we take any formula also?
Yeah, you can take any formula, but try to understand this present sum. Don't start going into very hi-fi things over here just now. Okay. Be focused over here first to understand this. Okay. First you do carbon dioxide, then you do carbon disulfide. Now you compare. In these two compounds, carbon is common, no? Is it carbon common? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now compare oxygen and sulfur. So when sulfur and oxygen combine keeping carbon fixed. When sulfur and oxygen combine keeping the mass of carbon fixed, so what is going to happen over here? So carbon is fixed.
आमा
We are combining
मेरो
sulfur.
पैसा ल
Please,
जियोको
what happened? Why are you making noise? When sulfur and oxygen combine keeping carbon fixed, carbon is kept fixed. So what happens over here? What is the ratio? Ratio in which sulfur and oxygen combine? Is it coming to 64 by 32? Yes? Tell me. Is it coming to 64 by 32? 62 is here, 32 is here. Or is it equal to 2 is to 1? Is it equal to 2 is to 1? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes,
Is it
sir.
coming 2 is to 1? Now,
Yes, sir.
now go to the third compound in sulfur dioxide, the third compound, the ratio of masses of sulfur and oxygen is how much in sulfur dioxide?
So 32 is to 32.
32 is to 32,
32.
or it is 1 is to 1, no? 1 is to 1,
Yes,
no?
sir.
Now we must compare this ratio, because this is the third compound, with this ratio, which is the ratio of the first and the second compound. So this ratio and this ratio are related to each other. How? Let us see. Therefore, I write 2 by 1 is to 1 by 1. So this is coming how much? It is coming 2 is to 1. And this 2 is to
2 is to
1,
1.
it is a whole number multiple ratio. It is a whole
Number multiple ratio.
multiple ratio. So this is how to verify the law of reciprocal proportions. Am I clear to all of you, my dear boys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? Which law we have done just now? Which law we have done?
Law of reciprocal proportion.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
So shall I give you one for homework? Shall I give you one for homework? Sure?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready for the homework
Yes,
now?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Who is no? Who is no? Okay, on the next slide now. I will write the question. Okay, question for you all to try yourself. Okay, are you ready? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
write down. You know the formula of aluminum oxide? Hmm? Yeah. So write
Yes,
down
sir.
aluminum oxide contains 52.9% aluminum and carbon dioxide contains contains 27.27.27% carbon. Okay. Now the question says calculate the percentage calculate the percentage calculate the percentage of aluminium percentage of aluminium in aluminium carbide, Al4C3. This is aluminium carbide, assuming that ASSUMING, assuming that the law of reciprocal proportion is true. Proportion is true. Okay, this is your sum which you'll have to do as homework. Okay, I would like to give you the answer so that you can check the answer yourself. Okay, the question is calculate the percent aluminum. So you should get roughly percentage of aluminum. You should get roughly, around approximately 75%. Okay, this will be the percentage of aluminum. Okay, for aluminum, this is the answer. So, but I want all of you to try this out for your homework. Okay, in the evening today, and get the answer 75%. The working is more important. Assume that the law of reciprocal proportion is true. Am I clear? Okay. Now, my dear boys, let us go further in this chapter. Okay. The next law in this chapter is called law of gaseous volume. Now, this law of gaseous volume was elaborated, enunciated by Gay-Lussac. By whom? Gay-Lussac, which you have learned in class 10 also, which states that under the same conditions of temperature and pressure, the volumes of gases used and produced in a chemical reaction are in ratios of simple whole numbers, according to this law of gaseous volumes. Okay, if you look at an example, one volume of hydrogen combining with one volume of fluorine to give two volumes of hydrogen chloride gas. Okay, so here the ratio of the volumes of hydrogen, chlorine, and HCl, it is 1:1:1. 1:2, which is a simple ratio. Okay, so here also under the law of gaseous volumes, we can have some examples. Okay, so for examples, I would like to give you one what do you call sum over here, one problem, so that you will understand this in a much better way. Okay, now let us take the example for law of what do you call gaseous volume. Okay, now I'm writing the question. 2 liters of nitrogen. 2 liters of nitrogen gas completely react with 6 liters of hydrogen under suitable conditions. Under suitable conditions to form 4 liters of ammonia. If all the volumes are measured, if all the volumes are measured at the at the same temperature and pressure. Temperature and pressure, so that so that so that the the data given are in accordance are in accordance are in accordance to the Gay-Lussac's law, to the Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. Okay, so this is the question. So here, what is the first thing you have to do? You'll have to write the equation by reading the question. Here in the solution part is like this. Nitrogen gas, it is combining with hydrogen gas to form ammonia gas. So nitrogen gas, it is combining with 3 volumes of hydrogen to give 2 volumes of ammonia gas if you balance the equation. But in the question they are telling us 2 liters of nitrogen, it is combining with 6 liters of hydrogen to give 4 liters of ammonia gas. Now if you compare this ratio, this actual volume ratio, you will see that if you compare this ratio, 2 liter is to 6 liter is to 4 volume, you will get 1 is to 3 is to 2, which is the same as their stoichiometric coefficient. So this is what is meant by Gay-Lussac's law, okay, of combining volumes, which states that under the same conditions of temperature and pressure, equal volumes of all gases contain that is the Avogadro's law. Under the same conditions of temperature and pressure, the volumes of gases used and produced are in ratios of simple whole numbers. Okay, so it is verified over here. It is verified over here. The Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes is verified. Okay, am I clear to all of you, my dear boys? Okay, so this
Yes,
is
sir.
a concept which you have already learned in class 10. Okay, so you, if you want to revise and all, you can after you have got your textbooks. In your textbooks you will get a lot of questions based on this law of combining volumes. Okay, you can practice from there also. Okay, now let us go to the next topic today. Dalton's atomic theory. This is a word which you have learned in class 8 also, maybe class 9 also. Okay, but here you'll have to learn most importantly in detail. Okay, so I'll just read out the postulates of the Dalton's atomic theory one by one. The first one: matter is made of extremely small particles which are called atoms. Then number 2: atoms of same element are identical in mass, shape and size. Number 3: atoms of different elements vary in mass, shape, size, etc. Number 4: atom is the smallest particle that participates in chemical reactions. Number 5: atoms of same or different elements combine to form molecules and they do so in simple ratio. Okay. Number 6: atoms of elements may combine in different simple ratio to form different compounds or molecules. But there are limitations also. And for class 11, you will get questions in your examinations sometimes from limitations. So that is more important to understand. So the first limitation of the Dalton's atomic theory is this theory does not explain the cause of chemical combination. It will not explain what is the cause. It will not explain the temperature, pressure, or the conditions for it to happen. Okay. This theory fails to explain the idea of isotopes and isobars. This theory does not explain the law of gaseous volumes. This theory could not explain the nature of binding forces, what type of forces are existing between atoms and in molecules. So this was the Dalton's atomic theory in brief. Okay, so I'd request you to go through this Dalton's atomic theory in brief properly. Okay, now it is almost time, so I would like to end my class here only, my dear boys. Okay, in my next class, I will continue with Avogadro's hypothesis and move further with explaining you with the equivalent weights and all. Okay, Am I clear to all of you? So I will like to end my class here only.
Sir.
But before ending the class, just hold on, don't go away, because I'll have to record the attendance. Okay, I'll record the attendance now. Please hang on. I can see 40 attendees today. 40 boys only present today. Okay, the attendance is taken. You may now leave the class, boys. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.